All right, so I'd like to thank you for joining me. I'm excited to have you on my podcast. And so for the first part, can you please explain a little bit about yourself, who you are, just for the people who don't know who you are at home?
Sure. My name is Andre Williams. I am on the North American tour of Come From Away as a standby. I've been working professionally in theater for a little over 10 years now. Ooh, that is crazy to say. But this is my first national tour and I'm having a blast.
That's awesome. And so, with being on tour, what has been your favorite stop on tour?
Uh, probably, probably Halifax, Nova Scotia in Canada. We were there in Halifax for 2 weeks. It was amazing. But I think a close second is probably Anchorage, Alaska. We were also there for 2 weeks. Nothing but snow. Um, but those are definitely my favorite spots where we saw the most sights in those spots.
Have you ever been to Gander?
Sadly, no, I've never been to Gander, but we have gotten many invitations because the beauty of this show is that the people who we play on stage are still alive to this day. Um, so we've had the opportunity to meet some people from the show. And we have gotten lots of invitations from Durham, the mayor of Appleton. We also met Diane Davis, who was half of Beulah Davis. So I definitely want to visit Gander so bad. I need to go and get screeched in. I have to get screeched in.
That's awesome. And so, this is a question that actually ties in with the show. Why do you think personally that the story of Come From Away is so important, especially nowadays?
That's a good one. I think we're in a time where people need to be reminded that we are more similar than we think. Human beings, we're all just looking for connection. We're all just trying to find a community, and that is really shown in Come From Away. And I think people need to come and see this show to remind everyone that humanity is more in us than we think. And this is a show about community. It's a show about taking care of people, about love, and I think that's a really good message, especially in today's times.
Yeah, that's good. I actually saw the show for my first time back in January on 30th, and you guys were in Michigan. And so
Oh, that was your first time seeing the show.
it was your first time in the show.
It was my first time in the show.
And so I got to see your first performance. It was actually really good, and I'm actually seeing it again on April 3rd in West Lafayette, Indiana.
That's amazing. Oh
Yeah,
wait, oh
so
that's so special. I'm actually so happy that you were there for my debut.
yeah, I
And
was
I saw
there.
your story post too. It made me feel good. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so nice.
Because I was talking to Andrew before the show, and I'm like, hey, and he goes, oh, hey, just so you know, it's his guy's debut. I go, oh, that's awesome. I love seeing people's debuts because it's like their first time in the show. It's cool seeing other actors.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So throughout the show, you cover multiple characters. What are some of your favorite lines in the show that you cover from characters and why?
Let's see. I have so I cover 4 tracks. So I cover Bob, Kevin J, and Kevin T, and I also cover Nick. But I think for Bob, my favorite, I don't know if I have a favorite line. My favorite moment is his grill scene when he is told by the mayor of Appleton to just go and take people's grills for the big cookout. I just think it's just so funny. It's so fun to play. And then when you're caught and and he says and most of them offer to help me steal their own barbecues. It's like it's just that's just so funny. As Kevin J, I love saying I woke up from a dream that we were stuck in some backwater Canadian town and then my air mattress deflated. Just like, I don't know. I love those funny one-liner moments. There's so many. Come From Away is such a good show, but those are definitely some of my favorites.
And so have you covered all them like on stage before? Are there some that you haven't covered yet?
I have been on stage for Bob and I've been on stage for Kevin J. I have not yet gone on for Kevin T or Nick, but I have done it through rehearsals and things like that, but not in front of an audience yet.
Yeah, when I come the second time, I'm hoping to see as another
Oh,
role.
I'd hope so. I'd hope so. Okay, that's April 3rd. Who
Yeah.
knows? Who knows what'll happen on that day? We shall see.
Yeah, uh Kevin J, I think, is my favorite character. The one who leaves the bar during the dance. I think that's J.
Yes,
Yeah, okay.
yes,
Then
Kev
yeah,
J
he's
slash Ali. I mean, he's a fun. He goes through all of the emotions in this story of Come From Away, so it's very fun to play, and I bet it's very fun to watch too.
so have you so you said you've been in theater for 10 years. Is there a show that comes to your mind as like the reason that you like doing theater, like what that actually got you into theater?
I would not be in theater if it wasn't for Rent, the musical. Rent, I saw it. This is gonna be. Do you know Rent? Do you know the show Rent?
Yeah, I've seen it a couple times.
Okay, so you know the material of
Yeah.
Rent. I saw it for the first time when I was 8 years old.
Oh, that's
That is not a show you see as an 8 year
no.
old, but I saw that show, and that is what ignited my love for musical theater. I know every single lyric in that show. I've listened to the soundtrack uh, too many times to count. But I would not be here today if it was not for Rent and for Jonathan Larson. May he rest in peace. That is the show.
That's awesome. And so if you could tell your younger self anything, what would it be?
If I could tell my younger self anything, that is a really good question. I, 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 oh, this is gonna sound so cliche, but it's like as performers, we have so many moments where we want to stop. We have so many moments where we don't think that this is for us. We have so many moments where we don't believe that our dreams are going to come true because in this business, we're literally running on dreams. I would tell my younger self to just keep going, and there is space for you in this business. Because a lot of times we think we don't fit a certain mold. A lot of the times we think we're not good enough, or whatever the case may be. I would tell him to just keep going. As you can see, I'm on the national tour of Come From Away, and that there's space for you. There's space. That's a good one. There's space. I like that question.
Thank you. And so this next question actually ties into the last one. What advice would you give any younger people who want to become actors?
I would give, I would say just keep working on your craft, no matter what that is, whether it's listening to Broadway soundtracks, whether it's going to acting class or dance classes or anything. The work never stops. There are people who are the top of the top in this business and they're still doing the work. So I would say just show up and keep working on your craft in whatever way that is.
That's great advice. And so with it being a show that doesn't have an intermission, it probably gets hard, but is there any part in this show that's actually like harder than other parts?
Hmm. That's a good question. I mean, there's a lot going on in the big number screech, the number at the bar. I think when I play Bob, some of the hardest moments in the show is when he's just on the stage monologuing by himself, because Bob as a character has a lot of on stage alone monologue moments, and you don't have anything to back you up. It's just you. So they're probably some of the hardest moments. A lot of I mean, you're on stage a lot for this show, but most of the time you're like sitting in a chair and you're like watching the scene that's going on. So we do still have break moments. So I would say having no intermission is hard, but we still have a a bit of a break on stage.
That's awesome. And so that actually wraps up the question portion, but I have the script here. And I have documented pages that have characters that you cover in their lines. So I'm gonna give you a little quiz.
Okay. Let's see if my standby brain is gonna be
So we're gonna
it's
start
gonna
off
be
with
up
a
for the
question
test.
that stumped Andrew.
Okay.
What are the three movies that they play on the airplane?
They play and we ran through every movie we had. Legally Blonde, Doctor Dolittle 2, and Titanic.
That is correct. He got stumped on. He knew Dr. Dolittle 2 and Titanic, but then he couldn't figure out Legally
Legally
Blind.
Blonde.
It took him. He got it, but it took him a
I
Took
think
him a
he's
little
like putting on
while.
a jacket during that time or something.
Yeah, and so now I'm gonna be starting at the beginning of the show and working my way through with putts. So
Okay, okay,
this I'm gonna give you the line beforehand and then just give the line after.
okay. Oh, I'm nervous.
I told head office I need to travel less. I told them it was doctor's orders, but they say you're going to the conference, so you go.
My dad's always saying, Bob, you got to calm down. But the flight attendant is shaking like a leaf. So I figured I've got permission.
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you. This is when the audience would clap.
Uh, Suddenly there's a drop.
Suddenly there's a drop, a sudden change in direction. And I fly a lot, so I know that's not normal.
Yes.
Thank you.
And then where's this line? Uh, it's crazy because it's like all spread out and I
I
have
know, I know.
documented. Okay. For this next part, uh, excuse me, I would like to get off this plane. I am claustrophobic.
It's claustrophobic. Excuse me, would you like some Xanax? I don't know if I
Yes.
should finish that line. We'll keep it family friendly here.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's actually one of my favorite lines in the show. It's so funny. It's just like,
Oh, yeah.
okay, so this is one of those meaty monologues you were talking about.
Okay, okay.
So, uh, Brittany says, "Thank you for shopping at Walmart. Would you like to come back to my house for a shower?"
Brittany? Oh, that, yep, okay. People are saying we want you to come to our house. And I think, what is up with this? Do I have to say the whole monologue?
Yeah.
Okay, ready? Here we go. I mean, are they charging for these free showers or are they gonna go all Norman Bates? Anyway, I wasn't falling for it. But finally, I'm invited back to the mayor of Appleton's house. That sounds fancy, but it's not. There's a mayor for every town of 1,000 people in Newfoundland. There's the mayor of Gander, there's the mayor of Lewisport, there's the mayor of Gamboa. Anyway, I'm staying with the mayor of Appleton.
And it's funny because in the script it's all Claude that's doing these mayos. He just puts on different like
It's so
different
fun.
clothing
It's so
pieces.
funny. When she holds up the mustache for the mayor of Gamboa, it's so funny.
And so, did you actually know that Bob was supposed to have his own song?
I did know that. Have you
Yeah.
listened to the songs from Cut From Away?
Yes, I have.
You have? Okay.
Yeah, I found them
I
online.
have.
So, yeah.
Basically, Bob's song is like the lines that he has now in Something's Missing. That's
Yeah.
like basically what it was. Yeah,
Except just a little longer.
yeah.
All right. So, September 14th, shelters will be alerted as each plane is cleared to go.
Our pilot says to pack up. It's sudden notice in the middle of the night and that we're leaving in an hour. But these people, they make these bag lunches and form a gauntlet, handing them out. We all walk through it, grab our lunches, say goodbye to all of them. We try to give them money, but they won't take it.
No, son, you would have done the same.
I drank all your whiskey.
I would have done the same.
Yes. That's awesome. I love that you have that.
And when I came, I actually had the whole cast sign it.
Oh,
So,
I'm so sad I missed that. Well, bring the
it,
book when you come on April 3rd.
yeah, it was when
And I
you
want to
were, it
make
was when
sure.
they were giving you like the play, like, you were walking down the hallway and they were all cheering for you.
Oh, right. It was a debut day. Debut days are crazy here at Come From
Yeah,
Away.
I bet. And so, here goes the next one.
Okay, okay. I'm ready.
This isn't a big monologue like that other one. So it says, uh, it's a lyric, but some things not. It's towards the end.
Oh, this is so hard. Something's not. Uh, is it I go down to ground zero?
Yes.
I go down to ground zero, which is like the end of the world. It's literally still burning. That was actually a really hard one because something's missing. All the somethings are all the same. Gone, over, lost, cost. It's kind of like to pick something from the middle. It's like it's kind of hard.
Was it hard for you for your debut day to remember all the cues since you play so many different characters?
1000%. And I also debuted on the 99th show. So I have just been waiting to go on stage for 99 per performances. So when it's your first time, it just feels like, because I'm also on stage with people who have done it over 100 times, and that was my first time in front of an audience. It was my second time ever doing it like in a costume because I had one put in rehearsal back in October, and then I had my debut. Um, the thing about Come From Away is there are so many spikes on the stage. They all have different colors. There's so many spikes on the stage. I don't know if you saw, but like it's actually crazy. So in that specific song, Something's Missing, Bob has to use the spike to know where
Hold on, you're cutting up for
and
you're
the
cutting up.
numbers.
You're cutting up.
Oh, can you?
Um, hello? Oh.
Can you
I can hear you, but you're frozen.
oh, great, great. I don't even remember what I was saying.
You were talking about the spike tape.
Oh, right. So Bob has to use the spike marks and the numbers, and something's missing. So try to remember the numbers, the spikes, and the lines. It's like it's crazy.
Because then you also have to cut across the stage for that small scene with Kevin T
As
as Robin.
yes, yep. In the finale, that is right.
And then we were talking about Something's Not.
Something's not.
You start with My Dad.
Something's not. My dad asks, "Were you okay out where you were stranded?" How do
Yes.
I tell him I wasn't just okay? I was so much better.
Yep.
Oh, this is hard. You're
And
really
so
putting me to the test here.
this next is actually from not Bob or Kevin.
Okay.
It's actually from Nick.
Okay. All right. This is the fourth track that I've learned. Okay. So we shall see.
Alrighty, uh so it starts with let's see. Uh stop the world. Take a picture. Try to capture to ensure this moment lasts.
Um, to ensure this moment, uh, oh, to ensure this moment that we're still in it, but in a minute, that's the limit, and this present will be past. So here we are. All right.
That is correct.
Took me a
That's
minute for that one.
that's all right. And so this next one is from A Kevin.
Okay. Okay.
I'm not gonna give you anything because it's the opening line for Prayer.
Okay. Opening line for prayer. I suddenly realized what that music was for my dream. It was an old hymn from when I was a kid. Now, I haven't been to church in years, but for some reason, that song was in my head.
Yes.
Yes. I need like points, like a prize or something.
And then here goes the next one. Uh, so it's gonna be so I'm gonna give you one of them, and then you're gonna say Kevin T's and then Kevin James.
Okay,
They
here we
talk
go.
right after each other. They talk right after each other.
All right, here we go. Here we go. I'm ready.
We were allowed out of the seats, but not off the plane.
We're allowed to receive. You never think about it, but airplane doors are 20 feet in the air. And even if you survived the jump, they probably would have shot you.
Yes.
Okay. My brain is like, I'm thinking of like beginning of the show, end of the show, middle of the show. It takes a minute to like check to see
It's
where we
harder
are.
when it's harder when it's not in order.
Right, right.
And so this one is about halfway through the show.
Okay.
Uh, Diane says, and I think nobody here knows me. I can be whoever I want.
I'm not worried about my wallet. I'm not worried about getting shot. I am a little worried about how much Irish whiskey I'm drinking.
Yes. And then this is right before Stop the World.
Okay.
Uh, Claude says, "You write us now." Doug says, "Goodbye." And then they all locals slump with a sigh, exhausted.
Yes. Some of the side exhausted. Before Stop the World,
Yeah.
all planes are stopped. No one's taken off. Oh, I think Diane has a line first.
Not that it shows here.
I think in our show, she says, like, our pilot says something, something, something. And then Nick says, but Diane wants to have one last look around and I can't let her go by herself.
Oh, so it's different in the script then. It must have changed a little bit.
Oh, maybe. Because we do have like a tour version of the show.
Okay, yeah, so that's a little different then. That's cool.
Okay.
And so this one is after a male townsperson says, "The wife's got the kettle on and I want a cuppa."
I get offered a cup of tea in every single backyard. And most of them even offer to help me steal their own barbecues. We bring them all over to the community center, no names on them. I don't know how they ever get them back, but that's how they have a big cookout, completely free. After that, I'll stop worrying so much about my wallet.
Yep. And so this is going to be the final one.
Okay.
Uh, so Brenda's brother says, our uncle is 68 years old and he just told us he's a bisexual.
We somehow ended up in the gayest town in Newfoundland. And Kevin, yeah.
Well, that wraps up the interview. I would like to thank you for joining me. And then,
Thanks for having me.
of course, and then once I'm gonna end the recording and then I will talk to you separately about posting and everything. So yeah,
Sure.
thank you.